Tokyo. And joining me here in Singapore is Parag, a senior fellow at the New America Foundation and author of The Second World, Empires and Influence in the New Global Order. Parag, great to have you with us on Newsday. So what kind of order does President Obama want during this Asian tour?
Well, actually, he wants to capitalize on the very lucrative markets of the Asian order that has been emerging already over the last 20 years. This has become a trade zone on par with Europe and with North America. And as the United States' role and footprint in the region has been declining, he's here to gain that market access through trade to build America's commercial presence here in the region further. And that's what the trade part of it is about. It's linked to the geopolitics, of course, because what Obama would like to do at a time of significant friction between China and some of its neighbors, such as Japan and the Philippines and Vietnam, over island disputes, the goal is to contain and minimize the spillover effect of those disputes so that he can focus on trade and market access issues. Because, of course, if they can build this Trans-Pacific Partnership, they will have enormous leverage over China to elevate standards and gain access to the Chinese market.
He's basically walking a very tightrope in this visit, particularly in relations between Japan and China, Japan and South Korea. But on the flip side, you can also antagonize the Chinese because the mainland is one of America's biggest trading partners.
It is as well. And so in the long term, the United States always holds open the prospect that any country that qualifies to meet the standards of the TPP, remember, they're always saying this is a very high quality trade agreement in which issues like labor standards, environmental standards, government procurement, the role of state-owned enterprises, intellectual property, all of those fit within this. Of course, the United States and others would want China to elevate its standards in trade agreements to match the standards of the TPP. It's, of course, a bit further out from doing that. So the goal is not to antagonize China, but to get as many countries involved so that you have peer pressure over China in the long run.
Well, the TPP basically is anchored on the Americans and the Japanese, but both countries still are at loggerheads over agriculture issues, automotives, and pharmaceuticals. Do you think they'll ever get their act together?
The truth is that bilaterally, and that's why, of course, Obama is visiting 4 significant countries in the region, each of which has strategic interests, but also trade interests with respect to TPP. Now, in any trade negotiation, each country has its caveats, its sectors that it wants to nationally protect. Japan is no different with a large range of sectors that you just mentioned. The same goes for Malaysia when it comes to state-owned enterprises and government procurement and so on. The goal, though, is to say one by one, these other countries are getting on board. They will have preferential access to the United States. If you don't join in, you're going to lose market share in America. So it's a dance with it's a dance plus musical chairs with 12 players at the same time.
A very complex relationship. Thank you so much for joining us, Parag from the New America